Yo, what is up, YouTube? Gotta turn my music down real quick. So, this is the first video. If you clicked on this, you already know what we're about to do. We're going to get the exhaust for my is300 SportCross. I've got all the parts I'm getting put on in the back, and I'm heading to pick up my boy. Well, wake him up, I guess, because it's currently 7:50 in the morning. And today is the perfect day to get this shit done because we don't got school. So we're gonna head down, pick him up, and then head to the exhaust shop. So I'll catch y'all there. Alright, we're on our way. We're about, I don't know, 15 minutes out from my boy. And then we're actually heading all the way downtown to the exhaust shop. We're going to Ace Mufflers. They've done all the work on all my cars. They only use like aluminized steel, so it's good quality stuff. They do good quality work, and yeah, so this thing will sound quiet for about another, I don't know, 3 hours. Then after that, I think we should be good. We just made it to my boyfriend's house. All right, so now we gonna head to the exhaust shop. He don't really know what we doing, but he's coming along for the ride. So we're gonna listen to this real quick. You know, get some little.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
All right, you gonna follow me? Shop. Currently look ghetto as hell with no hood on, but spacers are going on today, so that'll be in this video. We got the tips and everything sitting right in there, and rear bumper has already been cut to fit the tip, and we're gonna have her sticking out just a little bit. You know. What are we thinking?
Shit gonna be tough.
All right, we hope it sounds good. For, I don't know, 2.5 hours. We went downtown. I head back and wait. They still got my car in there. I don't know what's taking up so long, so me and Twin about to pass out in the whip. It's absolutely, and I have no hood on my car, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. We made it home. Exhaust is done. It sounds pretty good. I'm obviously gonna throw some sound clips in there. We still do have the hood off, and we made it home fine in the rain. The intake stayed dry, so nothing to worry about there. I'm gonna get this thing washed, and then later in the video we do have some more stuff to do to it. We are going to be replacing these lug studs that are missing. So I got one there on that side, and then I have another one that's missing on this side right here. We do have the replacements for those. We picked them up while we were at the shop waiting. So we got 2 new lug studs, and then we are gonna be throwing the spacers on the front. So I'm gonna throw in some audio clips of the exhaust now because I can't do it since I'm in the neighborhood. Yeah, and then we're gonna be wet sanding the hood because it got painted gloss black. So we're gonna be wet sanding and buffing this. And then I don't think we got anything else. So we got my sandpaper in this bucket, and we're gonna get started on wet sanding the entire hood. And then once it's all smooth, we're gonna put some compound on here and just quickly buff it just to make it look half decent. And then we're gonna throw that on the car, give the whole thing a wash because she's quite dirty, as you can tell. So we'll get that done, and then we're gonna start working on the lug studs and the wheel spacers. I accidentally went a little heavy on the sanding, and so I went through the paint in some spots. So I sprayed another coat just thinly over those pieces that I missed. The center is pretty smooth. I still have to hit it with some higher grits to make it smooth, and then we can polish that down. So for right now, I just got my pressure washer set up, and we're gonna wash off everything on the car, including the engine bay. We're gonna try to brush that down as much as possible. Yeah, we'll just get her sprayed down. The hood doesn't matter too much because obviously when you polish it, it has to be clean. So it'll be clean. We'll throw it on here. Everything should be clean. And then we still have to get our lug studs in the back and our spacers in the front. Those spacers should be coming today. Not sure what time, so I might not have those until like later tonight, but I'll still include all that in this video. For right now, she looks pretty good. Went ahead and got the whip washed. Engine bay is looking 10 times cleaner. Everything's washed down. Nice and shiny for the most part. And while we was doing that, everything over here was drying. I also cleaned my mom's car, so everything looks much better. So, oh, also wheel spacers came. So those fronts will be going on. And I'm pretty sure everything over here is dry enough that I can sand it. So I'm gonna get to that now. I already did the other side off camera, but I'm putting the spacers on the front, and I need to start by adjusting the coilovers because with the spacers, it's gonna hit the fender when I turn. So I'm gonna lift it up another 1/4 of an inch. So there's gonna be 2 3/4 of thread here. And then I'm gonna throw the spacer on, throw some red Loctite on these studs, tighten everything down, throw the wheel back on, and then I'm gonna get to work on the rear, adding those lugs that are broken. So I'll show you this process real quick. So we're actually gonna break this bottom collar loose so that way I can turn the threads on this. And then after that, we're gonna be able to add the spacer. So I'll get to do that. The coilover raised up 1/4 of an inch. So it's at 2 3/4 here. Tighten that collar back down. Now I'm gonna throw some thread locker on each one of these, and then I can throw the spacer and the wheel back on, and we should be good to go. So all I'm gonna do for this thread locker is just add a thin little strip down each one of these. Not too much, because I might need to take these spacers off eventually when I run some wider wheels. But this is some cheap thread locker. I'm sure it's not gonna really hold too much, but not too bad to at least use it. I have put the spacer on and torqued all these bolts. I'm not actually gonna have to cut these, which is good because they'll stick behind that. And if I ever do take these off, I'll have longer studs so I can run a wider wheel with a longer nut on it. Give me a little extra stability. Everything spins freely, so let's throw that wheel back on and then get to work on the rears. It's on, let's go ahead and lower her down. Pull the jack out. And fitment looks much better. Much better. There's still a pretty decent sized gap here, but I will fix that with wider wheels. The spacers are just temporarily to widen it to fit a little bit better because it looked horrible before. So let's start taking apart these rears, pound that stud out and throw the new one in. Rear up in the air. Now you can see this stud a little bit better. Snapped off there. So all we're gonna have to do to access that is take off these 2 16s, I believe. They might be 17s. Take the caliper off, and then we'll pound on this rotor, pop that out. We should be able to just pop this stud straight out the back. I was wrong. These bolts holding in the caliper are 17s. Then you got your disc drum combo here. So you got the drum on the inside, you got your disc on the outside. And so all we're gonna wanna do is punch this guy out. And so if you see back there, there's a little bit of space. So if I turn this, should be able to punch this guy out and then squeeze another stud back inside of here to get that guy in. Lug punched out. I'm gonna do this the improper way by squeezing this back in here and then pulling it through. The correct way to be take your axle nut off and pull your actual assembly out and do this, but that's a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna squeeze this in and then I'm gonna throw the wheel on here and I'm going to pull it through. That lug through, but I actually had to do it on this side because there's a little bit more room. And so I'm gonna show you the easiest way to get these to actually seat themselves. You're gonna wanna take a long lug nut. You're gonna pop that guy on there and you're gonna impact it. And this is gonna push against this and it's gonna pull this guy into place. Once you kind of got that lug nut popped in there, you're just gonna wanna really wrench on her. And if you come around to the back, you see, oh, here, sorry, let me turn this guy. If you come around to the back, you can see it's almost fully seated. So we will do just a little bit more. And now she should be good. You guys really can't see that, can you? Hold on. You should be able to see it's fully seated now. Let me just back that lug nut off and then throw our wheel back on. Wheel back on, and we now have 5 lug nuts holding the rear wheel on. So we're just gonna go do the same thing to the other side. Same thing done on the driver's side. All 5 are in. Brake and everything's back on. And what we gotta do is take our jacks out from underneath our car, and we should be able to just lower her down. All right, I low-key forgot to record an outro, so this is that. We lowered the car back down and got everything running. Didn't end up putting the hood on today because I didn't get to finish polishing that up. Drove the car around, drove fine. If you guys are interested in following along with this build, just drop a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching my first ever YouTube video. There's definitely gonna be more content coming with that is300 SportCross. So hell yeah, thanks for watching, y'all.